Let the drama continue. Okay, here is a preacher at a Turning Point USA event calling out Candace Owens, declaring her evil before eventually just pulling a Jeb Bush and telling everybody they need to clap now. Clap now. Now it's time to clap.
Contrary to what Candace Owens is saying, who's spending her time trying to tear down the legacy of Charlie Kirk, fighting against Erica Kirk, his wife. I mean, you have to be cruel and demonic to insinuate the things that she has insinuated over the past several weeks. She's evil. That's what it is. And a big hand clap goes there. Don't get shy on me tonight. I ain't the one. I came too far to play around.
Candace Owens, she has a bunch of keys to the truth. And, you know, she even sees some keys of the truth from other people that they're holding, and she's begging them to basically expose the full truth and corruption. And some of them have to throw themselves under the bus at this point, but they're not willing to. And I'm really hoping Candace Owens comes out and starts, you know, continues with her mission on finding out what happened, because we can't allow this, and I've said this, we can't allow this to be another JFK, MLK situation, Epstein files. We're not going to have the Charlie Kirk files. We can't have it. We need to find out. If we don't, we're doomed. There's no point on voting. There's no point on doing anything in this country if we don't have, if we the people do not force our government to be transparent with us. There is no point on voting in this country. There's no point on doing anything for this government. That's my personal opinion, because when you have people that we elect to be in power and they're running on being fully transparent with the American people, and then they assume power and they don't do what we, you know, voted them in for, game's over. Game's over.
Do people realize sort of what Charlie was about?
Some of us do. Some of us clearly don't. What I want to say about Charlie is that he and I had numerous disagreements. I'm a woman who's married to a woman. And despite that, he invited me on his podcast. He had me speak at his Turning Point event. He platformed me. He retweeted me. This is a guy that was willing to engage in debate to resolve disagreements. And the fact that I am seeing celebration, and I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to make this about any red, blue. I don't want to be divisive here, but this is disgusting.
Now, if people actually paid attention to Charlie Kirk, they would have known by now that he wasn't somebody that was always opposed to speaking to somebody because they had a different belief than him, or, you know, if he disagreed with somebody in any type of subject, he didn't care. He wanted to have a debate and, you know, talk to people and have people understand a different perspective. And I think that's something that a lot of people that never really paid attention or knew Charlie or watched his videos, really watched him and get to know what type of person he was. Even in interviews, when you hear people talk about behind the camera, when, you know, the camera wasn't pointing at him, he was always the same person and wanting to have a civil discussion with people.
I hate the United States? I don't think I do. No, give my life for the country in a second. I feel like we're actually in the process of doing that, giving over things that we love because we care about this land and its people, because this is where we're from. You're not going to get me off the track, but you're also not going to get me to lie. So what happens if you decide I'm just going to tell the truth? You don't have to tell the whole truth about everything all the time. You don't. You're not required to do that. But I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to tell the truth. We are definitely going to get killed if you keep doing that.
Trial and murder is very simple. Charlie was assassinated on a live stream. We deserve to see live streamed every second of his trial. All of the evidence that the federal government has against Tyler Robinson and presumably his live-in transgender furry boyfriend, who was accomplice in this murder. And we deserve to see all of the physical, video, text, digital available evidence that deserves to be live streamed directly onto our televisions, laptops, iPhones, so that everyone can see with absolute clarity what happened, the case that the feds have against Tyler Robinson, and a timeline backed by data and physical evidence of exactly what happened that day, and hopefully testimony from the killer and any accomplices. That is the only way that you're going to put to death the single biggest murder since JFK in America. The only way that you are going to end any theories about what else might have happened is to do this full and total transparency.
And everybody's been asking about full transparency. I've been asking about it a million times on this channel. They said there was about 3,000 students or people that were at this event in Utah. So many phones were out there. There has to be... What happened to all these people that recorded? You know, you only have a very, very few videos online that show, you know, certain different angles of what happened the moment he got shot, and then everybody starts running and everybody's going crazy. But why isn't there more footage? And then the footage everybody's been talking about is the camera that was right behind Charlie Kirk's head, the one that was pointing to the audience. That's gonna give us a direct line of sight of where exactly the shooter was at. Why this isn't shown to the American people? I mean, we've already seen Charlie get shot. Just show us the video so we can see which direction it's coming from. Seeing the video very clearly and seeing people's reaction, because we know by now that there's other people in the audience that were in on this. Seeing their body language, their reactions. If they didn't duck and run or hide or do something and panic in some way, those people need to be questioned, investigated, looking at their digital footprint online, every single aspect, investigating their family members, everything, to figure out what the hell happened that day. And Benny Johnson's out here and he knows something is fishy, something's not right, something's not adding up. He doesn't want to do the full investigative work like Candace Owens has been doing. And just as Officer Tatum criticizing her for even talking about Charlie Kirk, I mean, we need to know the truth. The point of the matter is not just putting Charlie Kirk on blast and keep showing his video online of him getting shot, but finding out the truth of what happened that day. The American people deserve to know.
So I went to a TPUSA Faith event tonight, and I want to talk about it. Thinking that I was going to enjoy myself and learn things because TPUSA is obviously a conservative faith-based foundation, or so I thought. I thought I was going to be informed about politics stemming strictly from biblical principles, and that's not my experience. So right off the bat, the speaker comes up and before he even gets into preaching or talking about politics, he begins by calling out Candace Owens and saying that she is evil and anti-Semitic and what she's doing is evil. I immediately wanted to leave. I didn't want to be there any longer listening to this nonsense, because right off the bat I know that that's just not true. And the only reason I didn't leave is because on the way in I basically got security checked 5 times, because there was armed men standing everywhere in front of me. They were very suspicious of me. I don't know. There was also an armed man on stage, hand on his gun. The security was everywhere. And I was I just don't want to deal with it. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it just didn't feel right. So I'm in this church and I'm listening to this TPUSA speaker go on and on about Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and how they're evil and anti-Semitic. And he basically indirectly is saying we should support Israel because Jesus was a Jew and we wouldn't have Christianity without Judaism, and blah blah blah. Obviously I disagree with that. What they're doing in Israel is evil and they're so corrupt, it's insane. And telling Christians that they should be supporting this evil doing because these people are Jewish, and if you don't, you're anti-Semitic, it's wrong. And also, I don't think Charlie Kirk would stand for that. We know as the weeks before his passing, he was starting to call out Israel and question Israel. And Candace Owens was his best friend.
And
like, what? So then he goes on.
And that was the problem. That was the problem. What triggered the corruption party, the people that murdered Charlie Kirk, the people that wanted to get rid of him, because Charlie Kirk started questioning things about Israel and their intentions with their movement and ideology being spread in the United States of America. He did not support that. He supported Israel at a distance. From everything I've seen in his videos speaking on Israel, he supported them at a distance. But he was always an American first citizen. He's a patriot. I mean, he did everything in his power to reach out to the youth and to looking into what the policies of what Donald Trump stood for to help get him reelected. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think it was a huge mistake. I think it was a very huge mistake because President Trump has had a bunch of billionaire friends. You know, we don't know his complete history of all the things that he has done outside of politics with these elites, celebrities, billionaires, trillion, whatever, world leaders, some type of deals that he may have done that, you know, the American people don't know. A lot of people that voted for him don't know. I mean, every time there's an election, you know, you never know fully of what these people's intentions are when they run for office to take the president's seat. And that's why it's very important to do your research on these people as much as you can. And putting a bunch of cameras on these people to see their movements of, okay, you're interacting with these people, what kind of conversations are you having, what kind of deals are you making outside of politics. That way you can make a better judgment when it comes to them wanting to run for a political position in this country. You can say, oh, wait a minute, I remember back then you were talking about this and this and this. Okay, question them. Did you change your views? Are you still aligned with that? The majority of people that, I wouldn't say the majority, but I feel like a lot of people vote for people depending on how they speak, how they dress, how they carry themselves, which is the stupidest thing. Because that doesn't dictate how they're going to run the country to help better your own life.
And on, he starts preaching, but the way he was preaching, it wasn't really preaching. He was just literally calling like the left names. He called the left idiots. He called them freaks. He called them just, it didn't feel right. And my thought process is, would Jesus be doing this? Is this biblical teaching? Like, you're calling people that we disagree with as Christians all these names in loser, idiot, freak. Really? Because last time I checked, Jesus ate with sinners. He ate with prostitutes. So you're spreading hate, literally, and that's not what God stands for. He's preaching to people whilst spreading hate. And these people are absorbing this information, these teenagers, these young people are absorbing this information, thinking that this is okay. This is a leader, this is someone we put on our stage, teaching us this. This is the future generation of Christians. Do we really want to be more divided? Like, oh, we're just going to hate on the left because we disagree with them. We're not going to share the Bible with them. We're not going to, like, help them because we think that they're lost. We're just going to call them losers and freaks and make fun of them and laugh it off. It was quite disgusting, and I'm not pleased at all. So basically, I didn't learn a thing. He spent the entire time talking about liberals and how they're stupid and blah blah blah, and like how men shouldn't be in women's locker rooms and women's sports. And I'm thinking we have more important things to talk about as Christians in this nation than things that we see plastered all over online. Like, yeah, we all know. We know that men shouldn't be in women's sports. We know that they shouldn't be in women's bathrooms. That's not the most important topic, okay?
And listen, this isn't something new. This shouldn't be a shocker that Turning Point USA is now having events and they're having these speakers come up, whether you're a pastor or whatever position you're in, start speaking on, you know, degrading the left and saying, you know, a lot of things that I've been saying on my channel. You know, I talk crap about the Democrats and the left and all the radicals, and I'm hoping there's more people that can come, that are Democrat, that can come more towards the center so they can have more understanding of how to work with Republicans that are also, lean towards the center. That's all Charlie Kirk wanted. He never went on stage and said, yeah, we hate the left, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he said it in dialogue and during conversation, but when you're having mass events to talk to the youth, I mean, he wanted them to understand that we should be America first in this country. And I'm going to be making another video in that regard to have you guys understand about the founding of this country and what George Washington, said in his farewell letter to the nation. And I got to read part of the letter, and I was actually so amazed about what he wrote. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Charlie Kirk wasn't someone to be on stage and degrade the left and also try to promote Israel on stage to the youth. That wasn't his intentions. That's, in my opinion, I believe that's why he got murdered. And Candace Owens, she has a bunch of keys to the truth. And, she even sees some keys of the truth from other people that they're holding, and she's begging them to basically expose the full truth and corruption. And some of them have to throw themselves under the bus at this point, but they're not willing to. And I'm really hoping Candace Owens comes out and starts, continues with her mission on finding out what happened, because we can't allow this, and I've said this, we can't allow this to be another JFK, MLK situation, Epstein files. We're not going to have the Charlie Kirk files. We can't have it. We need to find out. If we don't, we're doomed. There's no point on voting. There's no point on doing anything in this country if we don't have, if we the people do not force our government to be transparent with us. There is no point on voting in this country. There's no point on doing anything for this government. That's my personal opinion, because when you have people that we elect to be in power and they're running on being fully transparent with the American people, and then they assume power and they don't do what we, voted them in for, game's over. Game's over. It's we the people are taking over this country. And we don't want to get to that point. We don't want to get to the point where we need to start a revolution in this country against our own government. I mean, other countries are going crazy right now against their governments. There's countries out there that are arresting people for just simply, trying to have the freedom of speech. Some countries don't have that freedom. You say a certain type of thing in a certain way to a certain person, whether it's part of the LGBT whatever community, like, you get arrested in those countries. Here in America, we're pushing it towards that direction. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. We need to have more people to speak. We need people on the left to come together that are more towards the center to really rise up and have a conversation, a serious conversation into bringing people together in this country. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Until next time, peace out, everybody. This one's for Charlie.